This evening I'm going to be talking about the art of self-healing. And in some ways it's an alchemical process. Alchemy being the process of turning base metals into gold, but it's also a spiritual alchemical process. One where we really are working to transform consciousness at the same time. I stumbled onto this in terms of sound. I had really no awareness about the properties and the possibilities of what sound could do for my body. Hepatitis C is what they call is the silent stalker and the silent epidemic. Nobody knows. You could be sitting here right now with hepatitis C and not know it. I was asymptomatic. I was tired, but I thought, you work with teenagers. You'll be tired too. I had a team of 4 doctors who were kind of working with me, and I got a phone call one afternoon, and I'm going to mimic the sound of his voice because this is significant. He said, and he left this on my answering machine, "Ms. Dhevney, we're terribly sorry to inform you that your viral load is in the millions. We have to tell you there is nothing further that we can do to treat your condition. We're very sorry. We suggest you get your affairs in order." So he left that on my answering machine. I was like you. I was like, you gotta be kidding. I did what any of you would have done. I got another doctor. And the other doctor, said, yeah, this is serious. Your viral load is mutating and this isn't good. So here's what we're going to do. So he laid out the protocol. There was a thing that they were doing, interferon with. And it was, I would have to inject myself and take these little pills. And I was supposed to be on this protocol for a year. Right around the same time, I went to the Gem and Mineral Show and found myself in this huge tent with everything. If you've been to the Gem and Mineral Show in Tucson, Arizona, it is a treat beyond belief and yet overwhelming at the same time. But what I found sitting there was this very bowl. Now, I had never seen one of these. I had seen them, but I had never picked one up, never held one, and certainly never sang with one. And the gentleman showed me what to do, and I just struck it, and immediately it yielded to me, and this song started appearing. And this is what I did. All I knew was when I played this bowl, the past and the future no longer existed. I stopped thinking about my disease. I stopped obsessing on death and dying, and I became at ease. That's all I knew. That's all I really wanted. Little did I know, I was setting in motion a healing process, an alchemical process, that would later yield some astounding results. And results that I began to see is something that's accessible for all of us. It is not a mystery. Unless we cannot move beyond the context of disease, death, and dying. Well, what happens with entrainment, with something such as this, is that this becomes the dominant vibration. This dominant frequency is affecting the brain waves, the breath, and the body rhythms. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to switch anything special on to make it happen. It just is what's happening. And entrainment and resonance can either work for you, moving into harmony, or moving into disharmony. You can walk outside and have a jackhammer driving you crazy, or some energy or screaming child, or something such as that, really creating distortion in your field, because that's what we're dealing with, is your field beyond what you know as you. So as I would play this bowl, the next magical piece of entrainment would occur. I'd start to sing. As I would open my mouth, magic occurred. And I'm not talking about operatic magic. I'm not talking about Barbra Streisand kind of magic. I'm talking about personal magic that occurs with my voice. My voice, like your voice or any of your voices, is uniquely designed to bring my body, your body, back to balance. It comes out of the primordial ooze that is you. Those two cells that put you together developed all the organs in your body. Your body understands rhythms and frequencies that are unique to you. And every time I injected the serum into my leg, I would say out loud, what my body can use for well-being will be used immediately. What my body cannot use for well-being will be eliminated immediately. I didn't understand then what I understand today, that I was literally directing my cells, telling them what it is they're going to do. And my cells will always respond to what I hold as the most dominant frequency. If my expectation was, isn't it sad, I'm dying, my cells would say, okay, we're on it. Because there's no good or bad with the cells. But I knew that I would hold a different thought. This bowl helped me to maintain that state of ease. So every time I would start to play that bowl, I knew in the moment, no past, no future. In fact, I was beyond now. I was just in ease. The third month, he calls me into his office and he says, Trish, and by this time I lost a lot of weight. Hair started to thin out. And he calls me in and he says, okay, Trish, I don't know how to tell you this. I've been testing you, and we're guardedly optimistic. Right now, there is no trace of the virus in your system. Now, I knew it had to do with sound. I didn't understand why it had to do with sound. I just knew it may have related a little bit to this bowl, because I felt so good every time I played the bowl and opened my mouth. For years, I've been tested. But after the second year, I go in to get my regular checkup. The nurse calls me aside, and she says, "You've got to understand why he is completely baffled by your situation." She said, "You don't have a genotype that would have responded to interferon. There's no medical reason for you to be well." This is what the doctor didn't tell me. That in fact, my body would not be able to work with the interferon. He kept expecting it to come back, thinking it was a spontaneous experience and that it was going to return. And then, and it's been now, 10 years that I have not had, and he's now pronounced me completely cured. So what happened? But I remembered one of my yoga teachers once said, sound energizes the breath. That stuck with me. And then in one of the research journals that I read about Hep C, or no, it was about cancer, they were talking about how virus cannot exist in an oxygen-rich environment. So those two dots connected up for me.